Your words, your mind, your thoughts, they are so critical in early recovery and to sustain recovery. Welcome again to another episode of the 1% in Recovery, where we encourage you to laugh every day, to work hard in relationships, work hard in recovery, work hard in your jobs, your business, and school. Just work. And to love unconditionally. Just put much more love out there in the universe and watch more love return to you. Now, always remember, recovery is beautiful. You cannot outthink an emotional issue, and your EQ is your IQ. We encourage everybody to join the Facebook group Recovery Freedom Circle, where we talk about the steps, how to work the steps, how the steps are so critical to changing your character, to changing your life. And to put down anything, inspiration, motivational, any question you may have or something that you're struggling with, and let the community help heal you and guide you. Join the Facebook group. Link is down below. Now, let's jump into this week's episode. We had talked 2 weeks ago about the 4 critical keys to early recovery. Recovery is complex. Life is complex. There's not just kind of one thing. You are attacking an addiction. If you are attacking low self-esteem, depression, it has to come from different areas. Now, last week we were addressing the one area that you can start with that's probably the easiest is really just start to look at relationships and how to start to build intimate relationships, how to build up oxytocin, hugging people, start to get outside of yourself. Because without knowing yourself, without loving yourself, without loving others, without people in your life, you are not going to recover. And the other piece that you can be really working on early on is your mind, your words, your thoughts. Because that will tie into the other two, the spiritual disconnect and the emotional intelligence. But let's now work on what goes on with your brain. A lot of people think that if they just change their mindset, that their life will get better. All you have to do is just think your way into a better way of life. Now, your mind is very powerful. That's why people love books like Think and Grow Rich or any other books that just tap into almost like fixating on a goal, on some type of dream, and on feeling those different emotions, on seeing how that can motivate you, change you. And that is so critical because the words really start to build up your new life. So your subconscious really drives your actions. It's not conscious thought. It is your subconscious. And the only way to have a strong subconscious is if you're constantly feeding it. It's no different than your body. Your body will feel different than if you're eating nutritious food or unhealthy food. You're eating a lot of sugar or you're putting in a lot of vitamins and minerals. So the mind is no different. You have to feed yourself. You have to say, Hugo, I deserve recovery. Hugo, I deserve love. I'm going to work hard today. I'm going to be there for my wife, my husband, my spouse, my partner. I'm going to be there for my kids, my pets. I'm going to be there doing what I need to do. I am going to do the next right thing. You have to go. I am no longer going to engage in my addiction. Rather than have put more of a positive thing, just do the things that you are going to do. I'm going to work out. I'm going to go for a walk. I'm going to swim. You've got to keep feeding yourself each and every day. I'm a huge, huge believer. The number one thing that you need to do is to have a personal mantra. If all businesses have mission statements, have vision statements, then a person has to have their own personal vision statement, mission statement. Because without that mission statement, they are not going to go anywhere. You have to constantly tell you, my first part is to talk about, I need contentment and serenity in my life. Part of that is by, believing in hope. Part of that is by working hard, having fun. All of that is important. And you see, we have to have our own personal mantra. We have to know what we stand for, what we live for. Who are we? And that also leads us into what our biggest goals are. What is our greatest manifestation? What does our relationship looks like? Who is most important to you? Who is your why? What is your why? What is your purpose? All these things tie into. Now you have to constantly state it. You have to say it out loud. To say that they say do it in the morning, at night. I'm a big believer. At least do it in the morning, and then move forward. Because you have to know what you are going to. Your brain has to constantly be fed. Is I love my life. I have not gambled in 24 years, 11 months, and 20 days. It's coming in. That's it. Haven't drank in over 27 years and 10 months. There is a lot there. I just don't talk about alcohol. I don't talk about gambling. I don't think about it. It has no bearing of it. Even like last week, because I was there with someone significant, someone that means a lot to me. I ended up going to a casino. Now, I was never a casino player, so seeing a bunch of slot machines never did anything. I was a sports bettor. I was a horse player. That's what I ended up betting on. And I do. I watch little sports, but I can still now watch in it. But the first few years, it was a really conscious thought not to engage in sports, not to go to bars, not to do this types of stuff. And I think, part of it is, where do you put your mind? Are you going to church? Are you going to meetings? Are you going to places that elevate you, like the gym? Anything else that is considered healthy, where we talk about books, or you're trying to learn something from a university, somewhere where you are really engaging in thought. So I'm a big believer in you've got to really constantly feed yourself the right words. And once you feed yourself the right words, you are going to recover. And it all starts with being more positive and just thinking about what you truly want. I always say, one of my biggest goals right now is still to get on a TEDx stage, to have a honeymoon in Bora Bora, and to go to the Galapagos Islands. Those are my three biggest goals. But I talk about it and I see it every day. I talk about, okay, what do I need to do? How do I get there? Obviously, the honeymoon obviously depends on finding and being with the right woman. You have to get married before you go on a honeymoon. The TEDx stage, you got to just search on what are the proper stages. That's one thing that I haven't been doing enough. But, you constantly talk about it. You see the holes in what you need. And I talk about, it's not about enough to just say, I just don't want to do my addiction. That is nothing. You have to have some type of vision for your life. That will get you out of the addiction. Once you start thinking about what you want in terms of career, business, in terms of relationship, how do you envision your family, your home life? You will change. So focus on the words, focus on your mind, focus on your thoughts, because though that will lead into your actions and behaviors, which in turn will lead into habits, which in turn is part of your character and your destiny. That all kind of just flows together. So with that, speak life into your brain and just say that I deserve recovery. I deserve love. Those are the two biggest ones. I always say, I know I do. I know God said, Hugo deserves recovery. Hugo deserves love. And now go work, do what you need to do. With that, we're going to conclude this episode of the 1% in Recovery podcast.